Many people have so many questions about the Helium Network. Such as, am I late to join the Helium Network? Or how many hotspots should I buy? Or should I cancel my Bobcat miner and buy light spots? When is Helium Network coming to my city? And much more questions. In this video, we will be answering all of your questions. This is one of the most exhausting videos I've ever done. I've been doing it for a week, and the reason was I was never satisfied with the results of the video. And therefore, I had to restructure the whole thing and did some editings. So anyways, for me to start answering these questions, I thought, what if you have an overall idea about the Helium project, the community behind the Helium project, the reward system, and the risk factors? This way, depending on your location, you could see if this is applicable or not, because the project itself is huge, and at the same time, there are so many variables. We have terrains, we have technology, we have infrastructure. So there are many variables that there's no one video that can answer all. So I thought if I give you an overall knowledge about this, then you can see which one is applicable to your case. So to begin with, IoT hardwares, this is the future. So the IoTs are small to medium to large. Cars can be IoTs, small devices, sensors, anything can be IoTs in any field. Agriculture, industrial, healthcare, instruments, entertainment, appliances, automation, safety, wearables, remotes, toys, anything you could think of can have this service. Now, the only obstacle for IoTs to exist in our world is it needs cheap and very stable infrastructure, a network that can provide access to internet, data transfer, sending and receiving. So these devices can start from anywhere from $10 to thousands to $100,000. The price is not what it's about. It's what it does. However, the most effective ones need long battery life. It needs access to internet, and it needs to be light or small, depending on the case study. So that's the IoT. So all of these industries, they need to launch these IoTs, but the IoTs need infrastructure of a network that has the capability of data transfer at a cheap and low rate. Now, if you think about GSM or cellular companies, the problem with this is three things. For you to use GSM, you need to have a SIM card. The SIM card will have impact on the price of the IoT. The second problem, it will drain the battery. And third problem, it'll make it bulkier and more expensive. So that's the problem that Helium wants to solve, that these GSM companies couldn't solve for the past 25 years. So now if we get this part, what is Helium trying to serve is an infrastructure of network with cheap, reliable, stable data transfer. So let me just give you an example really quick. So let's say that if you guys know that so as you may know that west coast of North America is well known for the breakouts of fire. So to use these devices, they're going to be really small sensors that I can plug in about 10,000 in one of the forests, for example, 10,000 IoTs. So once any of these sensors catch or smells fire, it will send and trigger to the Helium network. And from Helium network, it will go to the fire department, which will come to the exact location where the fire broke out. So these 10,000 devices, first of all, they can stay in the forest for years, versus if I use the SIM card, I need to charge them every 2 weeks. That's not feasible. For the 10,000 devices here, if I use the cellular company, I need to have a SIM card installed on each one of them and pay membership for each one of them, which is not feasible. And here it's not the case. Also, because I need to install the SIM card, it's going to be bulkier and more expensive. So this is just a quick example why we need people in the future. People and industries will need this network. And this will come in handy later on and will connect the dots so you can understand why the data transfer is going to be one of your main streams in the future. Now we have a problem that we need to solve. The team in Helium understood this part, and their co-founders, Sean Fanning, who was the founder of Napster back in the 1990s, which was the first platform that was peer-to-peer. So they said to build this huge network, it has to be through the people. And that's when they started doing the technical part, which was the long PHY, the LoRaN, the radio frequencies through the home wireless internets. But then they could not see how they can let the community be part of this project until 2017, when they heard about the big boys, Bitcoin and Ethereum. They started exploring them, they started exploring the blockchain and understood how it worked. From there, they determined that if they reward people in exchange for proof of coverage, which the layout of the foundation of this network through rewarding them with tokens could be ideal. Remember, guys, a project like this that has never been done before is probably one of the hardest projects, because once you start a project that is similar to something or it's built on something, then you can have little risk, little quality management problems here and there. But when you start something from scratch, not only you have risk and quality management, but you have unknowns that you are not in control of. You don't know what you're going to face. So now today, they this what you see in your map is about a year and 3 months. So they have accomplished a lot. And once you see this, you'll understand that, imagine if there are IoTs here, which is approximately will be around 75 billion IoTs in 2025. And these IoTs use our network for data transfer. And that's what will create our second revenue stream. So now we're solving a problem. Helium is giving the solutions through the hotspots to the people. The people are using them, and we are using them to help those IoTs. But in exchange, we're getting paid for this service. And that's what makes this project unique. That's what makes HNT token one of the special altcoins out there. So now, once we understand the concept of this, then we'll connect the dots later on, because at the end, our purpose is to provide data transfers to the IoTs in our regions. So that's the concept. Let's move on to the community. The second part of this video is the community. The community inside Helium is probably one of the most devoted communities you'll ever see. I encourage you to go to discord.com and then explore public servers, write down Helium here, and come down here. And here you join and you see everything about this project. The involvement of the community, the devotion, the dedication is just incredible. You can also see here arrivals. You can see the deployment of devices into the network. You can see here 649, 648, 648, 646, 642, 639, 639. So it's almost every minute, every 2 minutes, a new device is joining the network. That's how insane and rapid this project is growing. And then you can also get with the community. Now, why this community is a big plus to the project. Not because we're getting rewards, but also the commitment, the involvement in the project. So the community is actually involved in introducing the HIPs. So the HIPs, the community works closely with the administration in Helium to work on this together. So the involvement is huge, and they're getting a lot of support from just regular people that have some, backgrounds in terms of communication, internet, and all other stuff. But if you feel the power of this community, then you know that Helium is the new big thing. Also, just to bring your attention, I remember back like 20 years ago, when we used to work on projects, funding projects for poor countries, poor towns and countries, we used to fund projects at 100%, like building a school. What we realized after a few years, the school will deteriorate in just 2 to 3 years. And then we moved over to in-kind community contribution projects, which we would fund 85%, and we would request the community in that town to contribute 15% in kind, so they can help out installing doors, painting, installing windows, bringing stones from nearby towns. And the results were phenomenal. The results were phenomenal because schools that deteriorates in 3 years, with this new project, it would take 15 to 20 years to see that they need maintenance. Why? Because of the ownership. Once people believe they invested their time, their money, their hours, whatever, in this project, they believe they own it now. And that's why they care about it. And that's why they will fight for it. And they will do anything to protect it. And this is why the People's Network in Helium is going to see a big success. So that's why I wanted to talk about the community, and you can check them out in the Discord, in the Helium Discord channel. The rewards. So let's be clear on this because there's a lot of talk here. So they introduced the HND token, and they took the economic concept similar to Bitcoin. So they did not create a supply and they say, okay, we're going to eat from it like some other tokens. They said, no, you're going to generate these tokens and mine them till we reach a cap of 223 million HNT. That means there's only 223 million HNT tokens. So when it's capped at the low margin, 223 is not a lot. You expect the price of this token increase by time. Whenever it reaches 100 million, it's going to go higher. When it reaches 120, higher, just like Bitcoin, because of the scarcity. Now, we're going to talk about the halving. The halving, which a lot of people are upset about, which is every 2 years, they're going to give 50% off what you can mine every 2 years. So in the first 2 years, this year 60 million, third and fourth year, this will happen in the 1st of August 2021. So we're in the 1st of June or 2nd of June 2021. So we expect this in 2 months. Although I've heard some rumors that they will delay this from the community, but we'll see about that. But let's assume it's on August 1st. So if you get your token or your hotspot on the 1st of August, or let's say 1st of July. So if you make 100 on the 1st of July, starting from the 1st of August, you're going to make 50 tokens for 2 years. So for 2 years, you're going to be making half of what you was making before the 1st of August. So after 2 years from now, you're going to make 25 of from instead of 50, because it's going to be halved. Now, a lot of people have concerns like, okay, now it's not worth it. Well, remember when I said this is capped? Okay, when this is capped, you have to look at this chart. This is just a year ago, guys. This was 5 cents, and it's growing. It reached to 20s, and now it's 16. So people that mined last year and were selling it at $1 or 4 cents or 6 cents, they lost money. And again, you are getting coins because of the proof of coverage, the work that your hotspot is doing. The value is there. That's one thing. Don't forget, the rate, the speed rate that this has been accomplished in 1 year is phenomenal. That's why I consider HNT is one of the special altcoins out there. It is the most special altcoin. And by the end of this year, we're going to see lots of green. Imagine next year. And that would be reflected on the price of the HNT. So that's one thing, the price of your token. So on the 1st of July, if you mine 100 at $16, you are getting $1,600. On the 1st of August, you will get 50. But what would be the price of HNT for the next 2 years? So you have, starting from 1st of August, you have 2 years till they make another halving, right? So you have 2 years. I bet you anything that the price will go up to 50 or 60 bucks by the end of this year. So let's save 30 bucks or 40 bucks. So if you make 50 instead of the 100, you'll be making $2,000 or at least back to the same number. And if not, by the beginning of next year, I'm sure you will be back to that number. So I'm not worried about this. Now, we have to remember that this network, the whole point of this network is to serve IoTs. And IoTs, in return, they will be paying you or paying Helium fees to use this network. While is this happening, Helium will be paying you for using your hotspot. So, to have a better feeling of this, while this is dropping and going down, we will have another chart here where the IoTs, because we're expecting IoTs to be around 75 billion IoTs in 5 years, starting from today. Not today, like this year. So the more IoTs in the network, the more rewards you get, since once they use yours in specific. So that's why you're gonna see another revenue stream coming in here, but it's, instead of decreasing, it will be increasing by the year. And that's why it's like a seesaw kind of thing. While this is dropping, this will be increasing by time, and while this drops, the income from the IoT will keep on increasing. And this is, guys, I see this like a flywheel. I'll be making a video in 3 months from now, and I'll be laughing like, what just happened? Because it's just turning to a flywheel. Nothing can stop this. Why? Because they solved the biggest problem with cellular and IoTs, and the community are the ones, and the people are the ones who are behind this success. And I always say, and I always insist, that people are the ones who make things successful, and people are the ones who make things fail. It's us. We are the buyers and we are the sellers. The rest are tools, whatever. So that's why we're going to have another second revenue stream in here. While this is decreases, this will be increased from the IoT. Another thing that you should also be considering, that the consensus group will be gone, and validators will be coming in to replace the consensus group. There are so many benefits for the validators, and one of the things that people will tell you, you have to have 10,000 HNT to be part of the validator, which is a passive income. If you don't have that 10,000 HNT, then when you come to helium.com, I want you to click on the ecosystem here, and you're going to see users, integrations, community tools. So community tools are discussed in the Discord most of the time, and people will just bring solutions to whatever that has been made. So if you don't have 10,000 HNTs, you have 100 at least. That makes you 1% holder from the 10,000. So it's a pool where all the HNT owners can come and stake it. So this is one hotspot, Helium host. No, staking provider. This is the second one. This is the third one. Fourth one. Okay. Hotspot management, hotspot provider. So we have 4 till now. So you can, and 5. So you have 5 programs. Each one is different, little small details here and there. I'm not going to go into them, but it serves the same purpose, which is you can stake your HNT tokens and you just get passive income. So you're going to have 3 streams of income and rewards. So this is in terms of rewards and what you're going to see in the future. So now we're going to talk about the risks. First of all, the biggest thing that I'm not concerned about, but that you should be aware of. This project has never been made ever. It's different once you build, let's say, GSM cellular towers here. You want to build it in the North Pole, right? And you say, okay, I'll see how they did it in Alaska. I'll see how they did it in Northern Canada, whatever. And I'll see what else, what other risk factors that I have here, like terrain, weather, and stuff that is not very similar to Alaska, but very close. So I have something to build on, which makes it a lot easier. This project has never been made, so it is from scratch. It's all built on theories. Is it working? Of course, it is working. That's why this is working fine. That's why the Discord Helium is on fire. People are coming. The community are contributing so much. The engineers are helping so much. But the more it grows, the more unknowns we're gonna see. I'm not trying to scare. There's a solution for everything, but this is a risk in a project management. There are so many unknowns that we're gonna need to resolve by time passes. So far things are getting resolved, and so far I think it is safe. But I'm just saying we might see unknown risks. Another thing people are asking if GSM cellular will fight this. They cannot fight it because IoTs are stronger and we need it more than anything else in this world. So governments will need to support IoTs. Let me give you an example. Let's say breakout of fires. Like if you look at the western side of North America, this is very well known for breakout of fires. And it costs billions of dollars every year. So what if I can install 10,000 sensors to detect fire in this forest? And in case of any ignite of the sensors sensing that there is a fire here, it sends it to helium to fire department. They come and they put it off. These 10,000 sensors will require barely any data. The batteries can last for years because there's no SIM cards, there's no draining of batteries. And the sensors can be, I don't know, but let's assume $10, $50, $30. They're cheap. Versus if I want to use the same concept here using cellular data, that means the device should be an extra $10 to $20 to $50 at least, because I need a SIM card and antennas and coverage and all that stuff. And it's gonna drain my battery, which means I'm gonna need to recharge it every 2 weeks if I'm lucky, a month. So there's no comparison of what the IoTs can do. And the cellular companies, they have not solved this problem. And that's why Helium Network cannot see this as a risk. And again, I always say the community will protect this network versus the rest are not benefiting from it. It's just GSM tower. They don't benefit from it. There is no incentive for them. So, but that's not relevant really. It's just the flexibility of the IoTs and how it can serve the environment, how it can serve the security, how it can serve safety, flooding. Anything you can think of can have IoTs. We're gonna just wait and see all these new innovations coming every day. New projects, new products, new companies will form just once this network is built. So that's how you should look at IoTs. Now, IoT is a big player after 3 or 4 years because that's when it becomes a revenue stream in your system. I think it's going to start in a year or two. But if you go to the ecosystem here, you can see asset tracking, IoT toolkit, agricultural. air monitoring, health monitoring, asset monitoring, hotspot management, asset tracking, enterprise IoT platform, network analytics, hotspot optimizer. Let's see something. Microbility tracking, another asset tracking, pet tracking, IoT prototyping, asset monitoring, city systems, hotspot vendor education. So if and this is has not started yet. The network is still in its first year. And look at these projects. Not to mention, obviously, the 5G project, which is coming soon with Freedom Fi. So I don't think there's much risk. However, I just saw right before I shot this video a new white paper from Amazon Sidewalk, privacy and security white paper. The sidewalk is basically they're gonna transmit internet to the sidewalk. Is it competing with Helium? Of course not. What it can do, this is too early to judge, to be honest. But I always see that competition is always good. How can they compensate? People. I don't know how, but I don't think it's a competition. But I think it's something that I thought I will share with you guys. Just I think it's mostly around the ring and parcel deliveries, just sidewalk network. So I don't think it can grow more than that. But we never know. Things can change. But at the speed of this in 1 year, with the community love and devotion for this project, I don't think anybody can beat this system anymore. It's too late. And that's why the 5G, they said, okay, why should we reinvent the wheel? This wheel is just spinning. Let's jump on this and work with these guys. So I don't think there's so much risk, except that if you see delays, if you see postponing of projects, you should not worry because you're getting your rewards anyways. If you guys, by the way, still have red spots here or you're not getting a full one-on-one, then you should check my videos here. The tips and 7 easy steps and the DIY as well might help you. So these 3 are really important. So now let's go for the Q&A. I think some of you now understand what this project is for. How does it work? I think it's just cleared and give you a vision of how to, think about doing this project. Now, a lot of people say, should I buy more for my network? If you are a lone wolf here and there's no neighbors, nothing. Like, let me give you an example. I'm in the capital city of Canada, Ottawa, and a month ago, before I bought mine, I live here, and there's nothing here. There was nothing here, and there was barely anything here. I think about 10, 11 of them. So all of these are new. This is new. This is new. So I was saying, if I receive my product after 5 months or 4 months, would I see more coming in? Of course. But this is for Ottawa. So if I live here, which there's barely any community here whatsoever, but I have like a cottage or something, and I live here, I don't expect this to grow here. Like cities, suburbs, it will grow. If you are in a rural area, I don't think you should expect that much. Like if there are 5 houses, how much can it grow? Like 1, unless you talk to them, educate them, that's something else. Or you buy more and build your network. So that's in general in like North America and Europe. Now, countries that are poor or that doesn't have the purchase power, you have to consider other things as well. Infrastructure. So does your country provide you 24-hour electricity? Electricity is a big factor for this to work perfect. So if you don't have 24 hours electricity, then that's a problem. Internet. So if you don't have constant internet, doesn't cut off, it will affect your network. Again, if I'm in a small town, that this town, the average people that make a month is about $200 a month. Would I expect anybody from this town to install the device? I doubt. So I would not. I would not put one for myself. If I'm gonna put one and I don't want to invest any more, you have two options. Either first go to my this video, do it yourself, I think. Yeah, where you can check the elevations and see if you can connect to other networks that are far from you. And if you're here, try your best to connect to the network here, or at least connect to these two. So there are so many variables that come in here that I cannot just give one solution that fits all. There's so many variables. Each country is different. Regulations are different. Needs are different. Purchase power is different. So I don't think the Canada in Canada you can apply something in Africa or something in Asia that you can apply in Canada. Everything is different. So this is for the network. Now, again, think of, I don't know how the situation in South America, but I would assume some countries have problems with electricity, uh, but also there is the government part where this can help. We never know. This is still under development and things can happen fast. Is it worth it to join the network? Of course it is. By the way, guys, the helium is still in a very early stage. The whole point that you make money from the IoTs, because we're making money now for deploying and building and the layout of the infrastructure. But the income, the real income, should be coming from the IoTs. So if you don't have any IoTs here for any reason, it's impossible. You can build it for uh, airports, presidential palaces, anything, security, safety, emergency, and we get to see new ideas, right? So the sky is the limit when it comes to IoTs. So the $1 million question: should I cancel my order for Bobcat Miner and jump on the Dragino and buy 5 of them so I have a bigger network for the same amount of money? Wait, hold up your horses, because there's so much stuff that I need to share with you. First of all, think about this project, the Helium project. Like I mentioned in the beginning, there are so many unknown risks. There are known risks as well. So we are still developing this together as a community with Helium. So think about this. If we are 10 years or 15 years back and we're sitting with Elon Musk trying to think about how can we do SpaceX, and we're all engineers, we're all whatever, and we're trying to make sure that we build the right rocket and everything is good. We are still testing. We haven't launched yet. So we're still testing things. We're not sure if this is going to work, which one is better, what kind of method should we use. All of these are unknown variables. And this is what's happening now. Now we are still building this network. We don't know how things will go from now. So that's the first part. And the second part is this project is in progress and subject to change. Why? Because we're still testing the light hotspots. They might not work as efficient as they were expecting. Some unknown things can just come up and, oh no, this is not as good as we thought. Helium wants to have a cheaper products for sure, but we want to make sure that this product works efficient. So that's why it is subject to change. Nebra, if you check their tweet, they have a week ago they announced there are 100 batches out of the new light Nebra. Here it is for testing. So this is still testing. That's the second part. So this can change because these are still under test. The third part, which is what do you get? What are the differences? So there are three categories at this time. This is the 3rd of June, 2021. First one, which is the original hotspots, the Nebra, the Bobcat Miner, and all these stuff. And there are two light spots. It's right here. The Dragino and the kerlink gateways. These are products, but the difference between the categories, which is, let's say, the Nebras, the original ones, and the ones with data hotspot, this is kerlink. Kerlink gateways will only mine HNT as data only, unless it is specified as helium compatible kerlink miner. So this is a higher level if it has this option. If it's Dragino at this moment, it's only data only hotspot. So what do you get and what are the differences? So this is the third part. So when you come here, now the original hotspots, you get all of these 6 rewards, right? Now, if it is compatible, which is the second best option, it will not have the consensus group. That's the difference between the first level and the second level. When it is only like the Draginos for data transfer only, that means you have only activated this option. So we have 3 categories. We get all of this. Second option, which is if it's network compatible, you don't get the consensus group, but you get the rest of the 5 rewards. Now, with Dragino, you get only this. So for you to buy the Dragino, you have to be in a city that is already using the Helium Network. So you have to have companies, individuals using Helium Network. Now, I don't know any city that is widely spread, using Helium, but if you know that there are, well, sure, then that's what you get with the Dragino. The kerlink, you get all of these except for the consensus group. Now, the consensus group is not a big deal because it's going to be converted to validators. So the 6% will not be in the Bobcat miner in the next few months. So that's not a big deal. But if you're getting only data transfer, that is big downgrading. This will be a good option in 10, 20 years, that's for sure. Because remember, when we talked about this let's say this is 223 million tokens that we're supposed to be mining from here to 50 years. So this is the next revenue stream, which is we're getting paid through the data transfer, and it's going to go up and up. So in here, you're not getting much. So maybe in 25 years, it'll be worth it. So put that in mind. Like a lot of people go to, was it robotshop.com, and they see this at $109. They get so tempted, and I think the delivery is very tempting as well. The 3rd of July, they're like, whoa, I can get this instead of waiting 3-4 months. I'm going to get this 109. I can buy 4 of these, but it will be not useless, but you're not getting rewarded for establishing the network through the challenges, through the challenger, the witnesses, the security tokens, which is a huge chunk. It's 34%. So you have to consider this before canceling your Bobcat miner or anything else. Now, the kerlink is available. It seems like it's available. It's 449, and they don't mention anything about the delivery dates. So this one is kerlink compatible, Helium compatible. This one you get 5 rewards except for the consensus group. The Dragino you get only one, which is data transfer. So if there's no data transfer, you're gonna barely make anything. So I hope this is clear. And when I said we're building this together, we're still building the network. This network is still young. It's still at its early stage. We're gonna see Helium go huge in 20 years. It can go crazy in 2 years if things work well and the companies start producing, manufacturing products for the IoT, and they will once they feel there's a stable, secured network. And again, security is a big chunk of this network. So, and when it comes to security, huge challenges come. So for that, I think you guys now understand the different levels of products that are there and why you should not jump on the Dragino as of yet. You can check if in your city people are using the network excessively, then this could be an option. Other than that, no, I don't think it's a good investment. Not as of this date. Things can change in a year, in 6 months, obviously. And again, this is by Helium. They're saying that light hotspots are subject to change. So do not get tempted by the price or the delivery. The kerlink, they seem to be fast. If you guys want me to look on this matter, I can also dig in more. But I tried to do the checkout, and there was nothing that says delays or any of that stuff. To mention, which is I always say, competition is good for us. Remember Emirate.io, which you can get a free miner, and Noble IoT free miner. They give you 20% and they keep 80%. Look at this game changer. These guys are giving away 70% of the earnings and they will keep 30 for the next 500 days. And from there on, you keep 100% for you. And the ownership of the hotspot as well. So this is insane. Unfortunately, it's only for the US and it's closed. You need to wait till they open up. But this will backfire on Emirate and Noble IoT because people that have these devices with them can return them any second. And if they return them and join this lovely flywheel, they will have to reconsider their earnings with their customers. So I would expect Emirate and Noble IoT to consider this competition and do something about it, because if they stick to their plan, people will leave them, people will buy the light spots, people will do a lot of stuff, but they will not take the 20%. So this is the good thing about competition. What else do I want to answer? We talked about the 5G, we talked about Nebras, Amazon. So I think, guys, I covered everything. I think you have a clear idea of the past, the present, and the future of this. Again, my biggest belief is in the community and the people of this network, of any network, not only this network. I believe that we people are the ones who make things succeed, and the people who makes things fail It is us. We are the buyers and we are the sellers. So for this, I hope I answered all your questions. If not, you can ask me in the comments below and I will answer them right away. Again, please subscribe, ring the bell, and tell me which part you want me to explore more for next video. Again, there's another video coming that I hope you guys watch it. It is really important. It's about crypto MLMs and how it's getting a lot of scams and which ones are already been filed as scammers and which ones are red flagged. So this is will be my next video. I hope that you guys do not approach any of them whatsoever, especially if it's an MLM scheme. Um, if you guys want to watch something called OneCoin Video Crypto, please look it up on YouTube. There's a huge documentary about it. It is similar to what's happening today. So guys, we'll see you in the next video and we'll be in touch.